Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nemeka Onyeka Obiareri. I'm of the strong view that for Nigeria to make any significant progress, we must totally transform, overhaul, and restructure the whole constitutional fiscal framework of Nigeria back to the 1963 constitutional and fiscal framework. We need to quickly, as a matter of emergency, request the National Assembly to quickly dust up the 1963 Constitution of Nigeria, amend the constituent units to be just 6 regions. The 6 regions should be the federating units, wholesomely adopt the whole physical governance, socio-economic framework of that constitution as the new constitution of Nigeria, and then insert single term in office tenure and rotational presidency, rotational offices for regional heads within it. That is the only way we can fix this country. And the truth is, our forefathers, our forebears, Ahmadu Bello, Tafawa Balewa, Nnamdi Azikiwe, Obafemi Awolowo, Sardauna, Ahmadu Bello, Anthony Nahoro, Michael Okpara, Haba Macaulay, these guys saw clearly that for us to be able to grow, appreciating our diversity and differences, that we must adopt a confederal system of government, just like we have in the UAE, that will allow each and every region of Nigeria or constituent unit to grow at their own pace. They discovered clearly that you cannot wish away the diversity. You cannot force people of diverse culture to come together under a quasi-unitary system of government. They discovered that the only way we can harness the diversities of Nigeria, the only way we can harness the large population of the entity called Nigeria, the only way we can maximize the benefit of the large population was for us to adopt a constitutional framework that clearly recognizes our differences while allowing us to harness the strength of the diversity within the enclave. And that was what happened. And if you watch between 1960 to 1966, each of the regions grew at their own levels. They adopted programs that worked for them, policies that worked for them. There was resource production and control. The regions controlled 50% of whatever they produced, 30% paid to the national ports, and 20% for the federal government. The exclusive list then for the federal government was just limited to external security and the external affair relationship. And that was why even when the NNPC won majority seats in the parliament, Ahmadu Bello, leader of NPC, was supposed to be the prime minister, but he said no because he understood that he wanted to devote his time and energy and everything to develop his beloved north. So he seconded his 2IC, Tafawa Balewa, to become prime minister. Awolowo pursued free education. It was a massive revolution. And the economy of the Western Nigeria was driven by cocoa. This east of Nigeria had a medical doctor who was driven by passionate creativity, visionary man who grew the fastest economy in the whole of the Commonwealth, 9.5% GDP growth. In fact, he built 214-kilometer industrial corridor. There was no fossil fuel revenue, so he was practically driven on agriculture and manufacturing. He had the best of intentions for his people, and in fact, security regions had their own strong internal security force. There was nothing like insurgency, militancy, criminality, and all the rest of the things that we're having today. Kidnapping. You could enter a night truck at Lumigbo and go all the way to Pambegua in the north. Nobody will molest you. Nobody will kidnap you. Economic activities were booming. Of course, there was ethnicity then. There were skirmishes, but it was not at this level. Everybody understood their differences. In fact, Obafemi Awolowo is one of among the founding fathers of Nigeria. Obafemi Awolowo is the one who understood Nigeria so much. He knew Nigeria more than all the others. Zik was driven so much and fixated with having a Pan-African view without realizing that we live in a diverse culture. And it is that diverse culture and civilization under this criminal quasi-unitary Abdulsalam Abubakar contrived satanic verses that we call constitution, that the criminals and I'm sorry for you, my strong words, that the incompetent manipulators of Nigeria are using to manipulate Nigerians. Let me tell you, if we adopt the 1963 constitution and introduce single term in office of 5 years, and then enshrine rotational presidency. There's no way incompetent characters like Buhari will have ever emerged as president of Nigeria. If you watch the voting pattern, those in APC who adopted him as their presidential candidate knew clearly that they had 12 million votes. 12 million, sorry for my use of word, that is truth. 12 million voters who did not even understand what the parameters of good governance was all about. They phantomly believed in a fake integrity that was put. They saw him as their third Mahdi, who promised them El Dorado without any intellectual content to query. And in fact, the elites who rallied around him knew what they were doing. They knew he had. See, let me tell you, there is nobody in APC in 2014 who did not know that Buhari was the most incompetent person to govern and rule Nigeria. He was a monumental disaster between 1980 to 1990. He was such a monumental disaster that Babangida had to kick him out. But those elites, because of their selfishness, because of their wicked intent in grabbing power, they rallied around him because they knew he had 12 million votes, mostly of the Talakawas he had. They brainwashed and they denied education. And then they were able to rally around those propaganda and everything. And for 8 years, Buhari totally destroyed Nigeria. Now, I don't want us to dwell in the mistakes. We can fix Nigeria. Let me tell you, the north of Nigeria is actually the land of paradise. When the Bible talks about a land flowing with milk and honey, if you look at the ingredients, the honey in the Bible is the date plantation, the date fruits. The milk there is a dairy. The north has large dairy foundation. The north is the only place in the whole wide world, north of Nigeria, where the date fruits can grow twice in a year. And we've done the numbers. The north alone can easily generate nothing less than $100 billion annually, more than what you can get from the fossil fuel. But the problem is that we have refused to restructure Nigeria to allow each and every of the constituent units to look inward and develop. Do you know why the criminality and banditry is happening in the north? Because the current security architecture of Nigeria is not working. We have shared with the government of the day programs and policies of how we can restructure the whole security architecture of Nigeria back to what we used to have in early 60s to enable the indigenous people control that. Do you know that if you have a security outfit in the north that is mostly populated by the indigenous people, if you have a security arrangement in the north that is wholly populated and controlled by the indigenous people, and they are equally armed, like the bandits, the ISWAP, and the unknown and the Boko Haram, I tell you, in 6 months they will wipe them out. Because the truth is, the current security architecture of Nigeria is a criminally contrived thing. If we go back to the confederal system of government like we used to have it, and the religious control their security, I tell you, there will be so much peace. If not that they manipulated ethnicity and religion, there's no way a Buhari will have been president of Nigeria. So rotational presidency, rotational term in office will help us to protect this. For example, if the presidency is rotated to the southeast, there's no way the rest of the 5 regions will allow an incompetent clown from the southeast to become president. You cannot manipulate them using religion because most of the people of the southeast are Christians. You cannot manipulate them using ethnicity because most of the people are of the Igbo stock. So the rest of Nigeria will demand for every of the parties nominating candidates in the southeast to bring the best. And that is the only way we can grow this nation. President Bola Tinubu, you've always been at the forefront calling for resource control. You've always been at the forefront when you were in opposition for 15 years, calling for fiscal federalism and sovereign national conference. Use your power and your influences. APC has over 20 governors. Mobilize them, mobilize Akpabio and Abbas for them to pick up the 1963 constitution and modify it based on the recommendation that I've enunciated here. And you will see your dream of Nigeria growing a $1 trillion economy become a reality over the next 5 years. You need to enshrine your name in history. Many people believe, like people like Babacha, believe that you've always dreamed all your life to have power, and that they believe that you have the power, you don't know what to do with it. Show them that you know what to do with it. Today, names like Obafemi Awolowo, Tafawa Balewa, Amadu Bello, Michael Okpara, Jokonde, and Mbakwe are revered. If you want to put your name in the same pedestal with Awolowo, you have just one single thing to do. Help us to restructure the constitutional framework of Nigeria back to the 1963 constitution with this slight modification of single term in office and rotational presidency and offices. If you do this, with the 6 regions becoming the federating units and states becoming provinces, each of regions can create as many states as they want. If you do this, your name will be etched in gold. See, we cannot continue on this barbarous chair of rotational of moving presidency from one kwashokod end to another, allowing people to play on the gullibility of a majority of Nigerians on ethnicity and creating schism. You have a time with history. You can do it, Bola Tinubu, our president. You can do this. Move ahead now and restructure Nigeria. If that is the only thing you will achieve for the remaining 3 years of your first term, that will be enough. Let the rotational presidency start from 2027. God will bless you. God will bless Nigeria. And our children are already born, and those unborn will remember you fondly, and your name will be etched in gold. In the same celestial level as Ahmadu Bello, Tafawa Balewa, Obafemi Awolowo, Michael Okpara. God bless you. God bless Nigeria. Thank you.